Jolan True, peace and long life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome everyone to Trekking Across the Universe. We are doing season 5 of Star Trek Discovery. And if we believe them, it's true. This is it. This is the final season. So, you know who I am. So we'll get past that. I want to welcome Michael coming in from the East Coast. Michael, the East Coast, United States of America. How you doing, Michael?
I'm pretty good, not shaken up or anything, so that's good.
That's right. You guys had an earthquake out there, didn't
Yes,
you?
we did.
A 4.8. Hey,
Yeah.
welcome to the real world. I want to
Mhm.
welcome, oh my goodness, we have someone by the name of Grudge here. Hi, Grudge.
Hi, and you may address me as the Queen.
Yeah. All right. All right. We'll have to see about that. But thank you for
Uh-huh.
joining us. I don't think I'm ready to do that.
No, I'm not either. Mm-mm.
Yes, but actually, Grudge is coming in just north of me, actually about 350 miles. So I think that's the closest soul that we have. There's a connection right here. But we also have our international connection, Aaron Vanderclay. How are you doing, young man? How's
I'm
everything?
doing really well. I'm so glad to be here. It's been a while, so I'm glad to be back.
It has been a bit, and you are on the westernmost city, most detached from the world, I suppose.
This is true. Western
Yeah.
Australia, Perth, isolated city in the world.
It is, and but due to the miracles of the internet, you're able to join us right here.
We are, yeah.
So it's going to be fun, folks. We have quite a bit to get to. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking Star Trek Discovery, season 5. The first two episodes, Red Directive and Under the Twin Moons, have debuted. If you're watching us and you haven't seen the episodes, come on. You know what to do. There's going to be spoilers galore. We're going to try to keep everything as best we can. But folks, we're talking about these two episodes, so you have been warned. Spoilers galore. And I want to start off. I normally go to either Aaron or Michael this time, but I want to go to the Queen herself, Grudge. Season 5. What are your thoughts? Tell me to get us going,
Uh,
Grudge.
oh my God, it went from feeling a little bit sad to emotional to screaming when certain things came out to yelling at the screen to being super happy with a couple of love connections. I mean, my emotions were all over the place.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we
Okay.
watched different shows, didn't we?
Ah, no,
Ah.
that's very good. Their emotions were all over the place. I did tell Michael that I did express some emotion on the first episode, so I find it interesting. Aaron, why don't you give us an international point of view on this one?
I think it was a good start to the series. I must admit, series 3 and 4, or season 3 and 4, 4 in particular, didn't grasp me at all. In fact, I didn't even finish season 4, so I have no idea what happened in the end there. But going into 5, I think it was yeah, just more upbeat, more exciting. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see how the season unfolds.
Ooh, okay, I like that. I'm going to comment on that in a moment. Michael. Oh, and I want to welcome everyone who's watching, folks. Don't forget, head on over to ndbmedia.net. There's quite a bit of stuff going on the network. And we have many, many guests. I think we'll announce some of them at the end of the program. But guys, you got to check it out, man. There's a lot of stuff happening on the network. And Michael, we spoke briefly, but I think I was the one doing the talking. You didn't say very much.
No, I didn't say very much. No, because I was trying to watch it again, and I got distracted, and then I didn't finish watching a second time. I wish I had, because I talked to Grudge right before we went on, and they said they picked up a lot more the second time. So I wish I had watched a second time, but that's okay. But no, I enjoyed it. I saw a couple love connections, and they didn't go very far this time. Maybe they're going to go later. It was nice seeing poor Tilly trying to maneuver around some things. That was kind of
Oh,
fun at the beginning. Um, but I'll let Grudge do more detail, because that's part of what she was talking about. I'm assuming. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Tilly was one of them.
Yeah, well, I figured that.
Okay. And I like that. I appreciate that. Well, I have to tell you that unfortunately, for the first episode, I even expressed a little bit of anger at Michael. I really felt that in the first episode, it wasn't script logic, it wasn't stuff. I've seen enough of Star Trek to say that, or at least I felt there should have been a much simpler resolution as to what happened in the episode. It's almost like, well, I'm not a storyteller. Everyone else around me is, but I just felt that the script was forcing us in a direction, and I did not like it in the first episode. I did appreciate aspects of it, but I would say that I was unhappy with the first episode. In the second episode, I would agree with everyone here, especially with Aaron, that I'm holding out hope on this one. I like it. Now, I want to back up real quick, Aaron, as Roger always does. You mentioned season 4. I get you. I feel you on that. What about season 3? I was debating starting this episode with, I'm one of the true believers. That was season 3. The believers, the ones that still believed. Did you see season? Well, you did see season 3, and I think you.
Yeah. I've watched it all except for probably the last 3 episodes of number 4.
Okay.
But I don't know. I've never been sold on the whole time jump into the future thing. I feel like, to me, it seemed like that decision was more based on uh, negative reaction to season 1 and 2. And they were like, "You want us to take it into the future? We'll take it into the future." And they set it so far into the future that everything seems like magic. Um, but yeah, I just season 3 had the quest thing. Season 4 just felt like season 3 with the whole quest thing. I don't know how I feel about the quest, the long season quest again in 5, but we'll see how it goes. But it's certainly the first 2 episodes were certainly more engaging, I think, than the previous season, to me anyway.
Yeah. Other than season 3, I would agree with you on season 4. Look, I've seen it. I'm a fan. It is just because I'm a fan doesn't mean I may not look. I love Star Trek, but I don't like everything of Star Trek. So
Yeah, I'm the same, exactly the same.
yeah, it's fair to have an opinion, but we're here talking about it, and we're going to continue talking about it. So that's cool. I appreciate that. Folks, I'm still watching. I'm in. I'm going to see it through. The second episode was much better. I have to tell everyone honestly, I just finished watching the second episode. It's been a miserable week. It's been for me, but I just got it through, and I think it was just a lot better. There was more in the second episode for me. I actually guessed several things in the episode. My daughter was watching most of it with me, and there was some good stuff. There was some emotional connections for me. So don't get me wrong. I was unhappy with the first episode. Didn't mean I'm going to drop it. But anyway, all right. The first episode, the Red Directive. I sarcastically said to myself, okay, well, we have the Prime Directive, we have the Temporal Directive, we have the Red Directive. Are we going to run out of colors eventually? But anyway, so who wants to jump in on the first episode? Or again, we don't have to go beat by beat on this. We can go by what stood out the most. Because if we do that, then I want to jump in. I knew what the president of Navarre was asking Saru. I thought that was cool. It surprised me that she actually did what she did. But from the very moment that we met that character, I have liked that character. Aaron, you're nodding there a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, when guest stars come onto shows, you just like you know this person has like a quality that the writers enjoy writing for and the audience resonates with, and I think that's exactly true. Like I'm glad that she's stuck around, and I'm glad that she has this relationship with Saru, and she's almost more Saru than Saru. It's yeah, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm glad that she's stuck around.
I am. I'm from the very get go in the third season because I think it was in the third season when she showed up,
Yep.
and she was great in that episode, which was so poignantly. I loved it. It was Unification Part 3. I'm like, oh, that was creative. That was really good, and yeah, from the get go, she had an affinity. You know what? She understood that there was something bigger for Navarre, and she was enlightened, and things have been working down. But anyway, that was in episode two. Episode one, like I said, some of the explanations uh, I was really unhappy with. I told Michael that, look, come on, man, they've extended shields to keep ships, defended as opposed to an avalanche. Come on, man, it's a bunch of rocks. So, but it did feel like the Phantom Menace, a pod race, a little bit, but I didn't think it was bad of that. I'm talking there were some script issues I felt, but that was the negative thing. Oh, did we lose Grudge? Oh, Grudge is. Hey, you fell in a temporal rift.
She
Grudge.
didn't have her shields extended.
No,
Wait,
no, I
Grudge.
didn't fall in a temp.
Did
What?
you live 22 years right now in that 1 second?
Christ, no.
Oh,
Although I
I
feel
thought it
like I've
was.
aged 22 years.
I thought there was an Enterprise incident right now. I was like, oh, we're at Archer 4 and all that stuff.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch what you were saying. I was dealing with a brief issue.
Uh, I was going to go to you right now. What are some of your thoughts on the
Oh,
first episode? And you want to clarify some of the emotional things? Because there were emotional
oh,
things.
sure.
There were, folks. Don't get me wrong. It's just, yeah, I didn't like the first episode. That was it.
Oh, well, one thing I thought was funny, and I told Michael about this earlier. I really thought the intro of it was just such a throwback, and maybe it was just a gift to the fans, of a throwback of when Michael was first originally thrust into the future, and that was kind of cool. But then at the Federation party, I absolutely died laughing when they talked to the drink. It said the name of the drink, which was 2161. And I was like, oh, what's that mean? And they're like, well, it's been 1,000 years since the Federation was founded. And the whole thing was, built around the Federation symbol and the blue of the colors and the stars. I thought that was really nice. One thing that drove me nuts, and I don't want to get too far ahead, this is all kind of revolving in this first few minutes. What the hell is a scientific luminary going to do? I mean, Stavros is going to go nuts. I mean, seriously. What do you guys think about that?
Michael, Aaron.
I don't have a comment on that.
Aaron, did you want to jump
Okay.
on Stamets and the issues that he have?
So I was trying to work out I can't even remember that bit.
Okay, the whole thing was that and correct me if I'm wrong, Grudge, and thank you for bringing that. Stamets, he was almost throwing a tantrum. I felt, Grudge, so I'm giving up. I'm giving up the cat right
Mm-hmm.
now. He was throwing a tantrum because he's like, "What am I to do now? Everything that was moving forward basically has failed. I am a colossal failure." And they're talking about the mushrooms, the spore drive, right?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and
exactly.
Stamets is basically saying we were all in, and it's not going to work. And he was saying, "What am I to do now? I'm going to be known as a failure." And my whole thing was, I'm like, dude, this is where I was a bit bent out of shape. I said, okay, it wouldn't be Stamets if it wasn't Stamets being Stamets. So, uh, yeah,
I feel like his character in
Yeah,
particular hasn't moved much since season 1. Like, there are things that
ex-
we could say are like stereotypical, like Stamets behavior, but I just feel like he has like this chip
exactly.
on his shoulder that just doesn't go away. And
Mm-hmm.
when you like compare it with the relationship between like Michael and Saru, and like Michael as a person, Saru as a character, Dr. Colbert as a character, like he to me he hasn't changed. To me he just seems like he's a stereotype.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And it's getting old and it's getting aggravating with this little self-righteous, oh, woe's me attitude.
there were moments I felt that they had given this character meat. They had given him reason, a ray d'etre, for lack of a better word. And yes, Aaron, oh my God, if I wasn't nodding, I was mentally. It, Stamets is a frustrating character. There should be change, but maybe he's the version of Data that even though Data was constantly supposedly growing, You had the movies, and he kept going back. It's like there was no real change.
Even
And
in episode 2, when he's like clearing out engineering or the whatever room that was that they work in, he's like, everyone that's not important, get out. And it's like, why are you talking to
Yeah.
people like this?
yeah, that's right. He
Like
has
there wasn't a
never.
fire or anything. Like it wasn't that kind of situation. Just yeah.
Michael.
Yeah, I agree. He just felt sorry for himself, and um, now they were talking about they didn't go with the Spore drive, but they went with another drive, and I can't remember the name of it right offhand. Anybody recall what that new drive? Why it was so
Oh,
much better?
Is it a pathway drive? Is that it?
I think that was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't. I must either miss something or I don't remember that at all. So is that just something that was in the background and they just threw it out there to us?
Is it because they're like rebuilding like warp drive after the burn that they're inventing like a new version of like warp? Maybe.
Well,
Well,
that's
it
what I'm
wasn't the
thinking, but
burn.
I just thought
It
if they gave any details about it, but I don't remember hearing anything.
they
I
they
agree.
touched on it briefly, just briefly, when they were
Uh-huh.
talking about having to rebuild and everything had been destroyed that was originally, under his control because of the last episode where, oh, I can't think of Boost Planet's name, but that was destroyed and everything had come back and there was such horrible explosions. Discovery had been damaged in that.
Yeah, that's true, but um, they're the ones who did what they did, and that I didn't think it had anything to do with the Spore drive. It was something else that crazy person had brought in.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe we have to look at it again. But I'm thinking that this is just it happened in between the seasons.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
probably right.
because I thought this is the way they were going, and then all of a sudden it failed. I was like, okay, well, maybe it's a hard reboot. I don't know, or maybe they're just going off in a different direction. Maybe that's a resolution we'll get later. I don't know. But listening to that, I was about, well, wait a minute. So it did throw me. I I think they're just explaining what they have and where they are now. So I don't know. We'll see. I did appreciate seeing Captain. It's Captain Reinhardt, right? Yeah. I did appreciate seeing him in episode one. Um, I thought he was a bit too cavalier, and what I didn't like, folks, is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but this guy is a very good captain, but they're playing him a bit too obtuse, a bit too
Yes.
narrow, and I don't get it. He is still a Starfleet captain first and foremost, and I don't get it. And the way they play him off, burn him, it, is it the writers doing it on
Irritating?
purpose? Yes, because Burnham
I I think
is
so,
perfect.
definitely.
I have an acquaintance that I've known for years, and he dislikes Burnham passionately. He says he has nothing for that character. I have nothing for Burnham, but I equate Discovery as a workplace. You have coworkers that you get along with, and you have coworkers that you don't get along with, but it is your workplace, and you go there. I don't dislike Burnham. I don't hate her. I don't hate the character. It just there are times it's like okay, yeah, it's very frustrating. But I'm not gonna. It's not gonna throw the episode for me or the series. But the way that she was against Reinhardt, I actually then guys, I'm a lousy Starship captain because everything Reinhardt wanted to do, I was in. I don't know. Maybe I'm old, maybe I'm sexist, maybe I have no filter, but I didn't like that.
I
Aaron?
feel like they kind of wrote his character as the sort of very old school like personality mentality, maybe like the way even when the admiral was saying, oh, you're part of the old wave of starship
The
captains,
old
like
guard, yeah.
yeah, and I feel like that's how they've written him. In fact, in the second episode at the end, I was like, are they trying to say that this is what perhaps older Star Trek fans are like? And it's like, we don't have to throw you out come on board with us. That's
Oh,
kind
that's
of,
an
we have things
interesting.
we can learn from you, and that's why she's like, I want you as my number one. That's just how it came across in that last scene to me.
Wow.
No,
That's
I
Roger has his
enlightening,
mouth
Aaron.
open.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
enlightening. Grudge?
I was going to say at that last scene, I kind of partially disagree with you because I think Burnham saw the ability that he had to change and to grow like she did. And I think she's willing to give him that rope, shall we say, to see if he will change. And I think he will.
In the first episode, sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that didn't come across to me that way. I'm more going with Aaron, just because of some other things that they had said, because they said that Reinhardt had to deal with things
Right.
when they didn't have dilithium, and he got things done. And so, I
Yeah.
mean, he was old school, but really old school, but a different type of old school than we would have thought, because he had to deal with what he had and do what he needed to do without the resources that that Burnham has now with instantaneous travel in the galaxy, which are mean characters, and I can't remember their names. The couple letter words.
Oh, Locke, I believe, is one of them.
Yeah,
And
I
Maul.
them all.
yeah,
Yeah.
because she said, or he said, or whatever one of them said, how did they get here so fast? So it's like, it's still, I guess, not general knowledge of what Discovery can do.
Yeah.
And so they were oh, they're over there. They'll be there in a while. Boom, they're here in 5 seconds. And that was kind of interesting. And so, in my opinion, that's the new thing. Whatever the pathway driver, whatever it is, I don't know how fast they are, but
Just on that note, when the Mole and Lark escape and they scatter like different warp trails in different directions, and they're like, oh, there's so many of them, we won't be able to find them. I was thinking back to that Discovery episode from season 1 where they go around the like planet that's being under attack by the Klingons,
Yes.
and I was like, why can't they just like spore drive jump to all these different places real quick, and then they can work out whether they're there or not? I feel like there's like holes in technology.
Oh my God, Aaron! I thought the exact same thing. I said, "Who cares if they went in 8 directions? They can be there in 16 seconds in all of them." Yeah, yes, I found that frustrating, Aaron. I commented to Michael, and I think we all spoke
yeah,
to
that was one
Michael.
of your holes in the script that you were
Yeah,
talking to me about.
that irritated me. At knowing the spore drive, yes, because instantaneous. As a matter of fact, on that episode, when they said we have a starship closing in, oh wait a minute, there's a second starship. Well, wait, if it's instantaneous, how did they even know? Okay. Oh, there were some things that were just
Well, I just assumed that they were in the same sector still, and they could, for some reason, they could see Discovery back at Starfleet headquarters. That's where they were.
that's
And
an
then
impressive
next they
sensors.
boom, they're right on them. So that's the only thing I thought of.
And that's fair. Now, you know, I did like how it started the action and then they went back 4 hours earlier. I do have to say, okay, that it's not new. I think it worked right here. And then we see, okay, what's going on, and then we see the resolution. Again, I don't understand why the ship had to disengage its tractor beam. Where, how, what? Wait a minute, folks. They had a tractor beam on them while doing warp. Wait,
Don't remember that ever.
yeah, I'm like, oh my god. Due to the laws of thermodynamics. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's the Martian. Forget it. I just some of the technology has holes in it. Oh wait, yeah, Aaron just said that. It does, and I don't get it. It's
And the
it's
thing
like
is, it's not like a story hole. Like if this was traditional Star Trek or like Star Trek from like the TNG era, it would be completely plausible that they couldn't follow them because there's 12 different warp trails. But yeah, it's technology holes. In the same way that in episode 2, when they have to like disconnect the power pack from the phasers and like turn it into an EMP, and Saru's like running, and then he's captured or he's about to be killed. I was like, why didn't they
Yeah.
just make new phases like they do after that thing has happened?
right.
Like, why did he have to give up his phaser or not be armed? Like, he could have shot at the drones. Like, it just.
Yes, Aaron, that was something in the second episode that did irritate me. Yes, they just right away said, "Okay, let's go ahead and do it," and then they were there. I'm like, "Well, what's the point? What
Yeah.
is the point?" It's kind of like, folks. I'm not sure if any of you remember this, but this was this some time ago. This is in Star Trek lore. If you have a replicator or replicating technology, why do you have starships? Okay. If you can replicate almost everything and anything, why do you have this? And this is almost in that episode. If you can replicate it, how is it that you're without a weapon? I don't get that. That was one of the most frustrating things in the second episode. Um the first episode just I think had it's a 10. See, my complaint with episode 1, and I'm sorry I'm beating the dead horse or the tribble or whatever. There was a
The
tribble.
Tribble, yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
there
there
was.
was. I was going to mention that.
Yes,
I
by the
caught
way.
that
And
the
so
second
and
time
so
around. I'm like, holy crap, that was a triple.
And
so
was
so
the
that's
Tribble
why
part
you
of the
want to beat the
crew?
tribble because you didn't think it should have been there. Is that
Right,
it?
right, right. Okay, that
Okay.
that just had that was a happy accident. Look, the problem is, and look, folks, I'm not against these story episodes, but it's a 10 episode series. It's all connected. One episode will lead to. So we're at the very beginning of the Phantom Menace that has to end with the Return of the Jedi. It's like, oh my God, the first episode's going to suffer from the weight of it. Although it hasn't been mentioned yet, at first, when they were going to go and get, oh my God, how did they fail to take the Romulan scout ship? They sent 3 people. Come on, man. This has, like, it's a red directive. When my daughter and I were watching this, the captain and 2. Wait a minute. It should have been the captain. No, it should have been the first officer, the officer's assistant, and at least 4, and then yet another security detail. If this has the secret to the universe, 3 people. Come on. You see, that's not script logic. That's bad story logic, in my humble opinion. And that's what frustrated me. What were you guys guessing that it was? I thought it was the Tox Utat. You guys remember that for the next generation?
Yeah.
Okay, you do, Grudge. Remember, Picard went to Ryza. Remember the Tox Utat?
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that
Uh
thing.
huh.
I was like,
Yep.
ooh, is this the Tox Utat? This molecular whatever destabilizer or whatever. I thought, is that what it is? And no, I will tell you that when I saw the image, I right away I'm like, oh, I know that. And I'm gonna let everyone else get to it. But I was like, wow, that's where they went. That had me, Aaron. Even with all the problems that I had with the episode, that had me. Michael, when you knew what it was, because everyone who has seen even just a little bit of Star Trek, we've all seen the chase. That was a good episode.
Yeah. And I mean when I saw the image, and then I remembered the episode and it being Romulans that were seeking
Mm-hmm.
it. I remember what the Romulans said to Picard at the end, who you wouldn't have thought that's who had said it. They like, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was basically saying, yeah, this makes sense. So it kind of made sense that somebody in the Romulan Empire would have tried to find out where this was. It made total sense to me.
It did to me as well because the Klingons were like,
Oh,
nah,
eh,
we're This BS.
Yeah.
Were the Cardassians there? They were
Yes,
also
they
this
were.
BS.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're out.
And I really honestly would have expected the Romulans to say it, but they didn't. And so I remember that stuck with me to saying, oh, that kind of surprised me.
Now,
And they never brought it up again.
yeah,
Never brought this up again
yeah.
until now.
When they mentioned the preservers, my youngest, of course, Gmo, she was watching it with me. I went ahead and I said, "Oh, you don't know what this is," and I went to explain to her that the preservers it was known from the 1970s. And sorry, folks, I'm really getting into the weeds. I forget where it was written that the preservers had seeded the galaxy. It made it into a book or it made it into a Starfleet manual. I don't remember where it was. And then it's like what happened in Lower Decks of the Titan. We knew of it, we'd seen it, but it didn't become real until it showed up on an episode. And when the Chase did the episode, it was about the preservers, and I explained that to my daughter what they were. And my daughter actually was kind of quiet on this. She was like, "Ooh, so that's where all the humanoid stuff comes from." I'm like, well, if we believe Star Trek lore, there was a sentient race that seeded the galaxy
Because
with
they were
life.
the only ones.
Yeah.
They were the only ones. There was no life.
And they put it in our DNA that if they were to make it, they would make it here. That was
Right.
kind of cool. That whole concept that we had the very material or answers to who made us, which is kind of cool. I did appreciate that concept. And knowing that they did this for this episode, I was all right with it. I did like that concept. I don't know, folks.
I
Any
was not
other?
expecting it. I didn't know what they were going to do this season, but that was not even on my radar.
So did you even guess as to what it was going to be?
Not
Otherwise,
until the
Grudge.
same thing you said. Oh, okay. Can I talk to Grudge?
No. Go ahead, Michael.
I
Oh,
was going to say not
Go ahead,
until I
Michael.
saw the picture and then I realized what it was.
Okay. Because I was guessing. I really thought they were going to go with the Taxuta. Grudge. What were you thinking? Because it's a whodunit, and I want to ask Aaron.
Yeah,
what he was
no,
thinking.
I had no clue
Oh.
up
Okay.
until that picture came up, and I'm like, I started screaming.
Oh,
And
that
I'm
was
like, my
your
dog's
scream?
looking at me like, that was the scream. It's like,
That was
oh,
the
holy,
scream. Okay.
they're going back and they're pulling in this entire storyline. I thought that was really brilliant that they did that. There was other things that, yeah, I agree with, were major plot holes and other things, but I liked the idea that they were looping in that old story.
And before I go to Aaron, just to again for Grudge, when I saw that scene and Picard, I pointed. I'm like, "Oh my God! I knew what it was. I did." And I
Yeah,
was like, "Ooh!" I jumped out of my chair, for lack of a better word. It had my attention.
yeah,
And
I just,
folks, again, I'm not belaboring it. There are things I didn't like, but there was stuff that I did, and that was one of them. And I'm like, "Okay, all right, you
yeah.
little rat. Where are we going, Aaron?" Up until that point, dude, you have that mind. You must have been wondering what it was going to be.
I thought it probably had something to do with DS9, just because I feel like that's where I remembered that ship from. I thought it might have been the ship that Garrick blows up at the end of is it season 2
Oh,
sorry, not
Oh,
2, 5, 6, or 7.
do you
And
know?
then I was like, oh, maybe it's the ship from like the next phase in TNG, where it had like the life form inside the warp thing that the Romulans had. So yeah, I had no idea.
You know, Aaron, when I saw that digital image or when they were looking at the planet and we saw the scout ship, Michael, weren't you thinking the enemy, the scout ship, where Admiral Aladir Giroc came across? The defector? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the defector. Wrong episode. Ooh, we got it wrong. Remember?
I can't remember that one again.
Dude, was that another 22 years, Grudge? You're getting old.
Or Grudge is going through some more lives. That's
Oh, yeah.
no. It's like all three of you guys clicked out, and then you were talking
No.
to Michael about 2 seconds ago. That
no,
clicked out.
no,
You
no.
clicked out, woman. That's why I said you fell into
No.
a temporal rift.
Okay, well, I don't realize I'm falling into a temporal rift because all three of you go kapoof.
Yeah, no, that's you. Now, not wanting to monopolize, guys, I do want to add that when they were talking about Reinhardt, remember where the commander, the CNC, he does say, "Hey, look, I've been through a lot of firefights with this guy." Okay, there
Yeah.
is, and everything else that you all mentioned, there is good to him. It's just he has to adjust to the way things are now. I do admit him answering the president. Oh my God, I I didn't like the fact that when they said we're going to take a break and then they walked out to have a conversation, I got mad as a union rep. I'm like, oh, that's management. That is management for you. Go ahead, Aaron.
You're right in the sense that even that felt very like workplace office. Like when
Oh,
Michael turns to him, she's like, "Are you seriously gonna dig your hole? Like really?
oh my
Like are you?"
God, yes.
I was like, "That's being at work." Where you're just like, "Did he just say that? Do you know who you're talking to?"
I think he
Yeah,
realized after he said it what he
right.
said because they were just like, oh, shit.
He
You know?
does. He says, "Oh, shite." And I was like, "Ah, dude." It did felt like that, and I got mad because well, we're gonna take a break, and then they walked away and they're having a conversation. I'm like, "Oh my God, they just sold him down the river." Yeah, it felt real in that sense. The conversation, everything he was expressing, I actually felt and understood it. I said, "Dude, this is bigger than you. Shut up. Shut." I wanted to tell him that it's like, dude, listen to what they have to say, get the slap, take the punishment, and move on. I don't believe that they were going to remove him from command, but based on how he answered, they removed him from command. Yeah, he took
Oh, yeah.
himself out. I felt. I would have. I would. I said, dude, you and I fought a lot of firefights, but you picked the you picked a fight with the president, dude. Come on. Yes, it may be political, and it is a fraught time. It is, but I, I don't know. Now, I didn't believe it was plausible what happened in episode 2, though.
Oh, the spaceship where they dug in? Or that's
No,
still on episode
no, no. That
one.
was episode 1, where they're having the discussion, and Reinhard appears. He said, "This isn't my first red
Oh,
directive,"
that. Yeah. There's
and
seven of them, I think, he'd
I've
done.
been monitoring communications. I'm like, "Oh, come on!" I don't know, Aaron. What were your thoughts on that? I was like,
I,
"Come
I feel
on,
like
man."
yeah, that was a bit strange, but it seemed like it was kind of the only reason why for the end when Mike was like, "I know that you care because clearly you're invested in this mission if you tried to help us." But yeah, so I feel like that was more like a story device to have that conversation at the end. Um, but yeah, it was yeah. But again, it's that thing of like because we're so far in the future and there are like forms of technology that we as the audience don't understand, and it just seems like magic. You're just like, oh, okay, maybe that's what they do. But then it's like, well, why isn't everyone doing that?
Yes. And why does it happen only at particular times? Plot device. Yes. That's there were other ways they could have done it. Now, what happened in episode 1, sorry Grudge if I cut you off, if you want to add to that.
Oh, no, no.
Other
No, no. Go ahead.
asking Tilly to do what she did and poor stupid Tilly was like, "I'm in, no problem. I'm in." I mean, folks, we've all seen that meme where the guy says, "Look, I need your help. You can't ask me any questions. You can't whatever." And the guy says, "Which car are we taking?" That was Tilly. And that was 4 years of discovery. That's why you know it. This was Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. This is he might be alive. And what does everyone say? I'm in. They're alive because the experiences they had. And when Tilly did what she did, I thought it was cool. I really thought it was funny that stupid Tilly was in over her head because she gets it and security shows up. It's like, woman, step away from the council. It's like, oh, geez. She got caught. I thought that was kind of real. No good deed goes unpunished, right? I thought that was good. But then when Mr. CNC comes in, he's like, oh, okay, security, step out. I'll handle this. They're like, Oh, okay. They walked out, and what did he tell her? So how much more
It
time do
was
you
a
need?
shame we didn't get to you in time.
Oh, right, right. That was
And
kind
then
of
he
cool, man.
pressed the button. He
Yes,
pressed the button, not Billy.
that was all right. But you see, guys, now here's another thing. This is the commander in chief of Starfleet. Come on, come on. How is it that it's even above him?
Yeah, that
Well,
bothered me too, but it bothered other people in the show.
yeah, and one thing that it said was this particular red directive had been a red directive for years, hundreds of years. So
Yeah,
they
what?
already kind of had an idea about it.
What it was like 800 years?
Probably, yeah.
Classified for hundreds of years. It says red directive was classified for hundreds of years. It didn't actually give a certain step, but I'm willing to bet it was the 800 years that he was missing.
I will say that I did guess a lot of stuff in this episode, but because when they said, "Oh yeah, this ship had been lost from this time or whatever," I did the math and I said, "Hey, that's around the time of Picard and Voyager." I was like, "Okay," and sure enough, I lucked out on that one as well. So I don't know,
Just on
folks.
the ship, I must say the
Go ahead.
one thing that really annoys me from Discovery, and this is just like a production design thing, that every alien ship is just a redress of the Discovery corridors, which maybe just shows that like they have timeless design. But it always gripes me. That, yeah.
Huh?
I have
Yeah.
a theory with
Okay.
Dr. Valak. I'll be honest.
Okay.
He's
All right.
been missing for, disappeared completely 800 years ago. I think he's still alive somewhere, whether in stasis or what, but I think he's still alive.
Okay. Well, I don't mean to be rude, but who is that dead body on the ship?
Somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Don't you think they had a DNA tested him?
I don't think they had time or even thought about it. Wasn't in the plot yet.
Yeah, no,
Very good.
I don't think that body was his.
Because he like just fell asleep. I think whoever it was, they had just died in their sleep because they'd realized they would never be rescued. They knew where they were, didn't they? I imagine.
I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, um, at the very end of the episode, the first one, it was. I thought it was a good ending where we knew that they had to follow them, and I guess they were going the wrong direction. I was a bit frustrated at the start of the second episode where Reinhardt was like, "We're wasting time. We're wasting him," and I really felt the crew was wasting time as well. It's like, wait, this is a red directive. Why are you guys sitting around? Get to it. I was a bit frustrated with that in the second episode, but um, things have to progress the way they have to progress, and I don't know. That did make me unhappy, but there were things in the second episode which I did like, and I'll get to them in a moment. Anyone else want to?
God.
Okay.
I feel like for episode one, the last thing probably I wanted to say was I really enjoyed the fact of the like Doctor Soong robot Fred. I thought that was
Oh, I love
Oh
that.
my
I love
God,
that.
that's right,
AS.
Fred.
I love that. Yep. But his
Yeah,
numbers were started with Antonian Sung, which was AS and then his numbers.
and then the comment they said, "Can you imagine that he had survived the whole thing had survived well into this time." Yeah, I did appreciate that comment, and that android, yes, it was good. I also appreciate the fact that the android, it was they called it a synthetic, right? Or synth,
Yeah, a synth.
right? They call it a synth. I didn't get it at first, and my daughter was like, "That's an android." She's look at the eyes.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh
The,
my
the
god, he
second
has
the
look at
second
the
it
eyes."
was like,
Yeah, I picked that up quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't
yeah.
too quick on that one. That one I blew, but I did appreciate that. Locke and Maul. Um, I'm glad that they didn't take no for an answer because they went in there. The guy said, "Well, this is what I'm going to give you." It's no, that's not the way negotiations work. And then Fred said, "Yeah, well, that's the way it's going to work here. That's it. This is the price you're going to get, and that's it." And I did appreciate that he was looking through the book, and even the synth. Did you guys get the impression that the synth knew there was more in there,
Oh yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
and that's why
Especially
he
when he came to
terminated?
that. Yep.
Yeah. He says, "Yeah, we're not talking about this. This deal's done. That's it. You're getting the price. Ya stuvo.
He
Goodbye."
might have known what it was,
Yeah.
because he'd been
It's a good
around for
thought.
so
Yeah.
long.
I actually thought that the reason why they went to him in the first place was so he could open it, and then they were just going to take it back.
Oh.
But that obviously
Okay.
wasn't the case. But that would have been clever.
Oh yeah, because he did. He. Oh, when I saw the thing that opened up, I said, "Oh my god!" I guess I would have failed too because I wasn't good at the Rubik's cube. I know this is before a lot of your times. I'm sorry about that, but I was like, "It's a Rubik's cube," but it's okay. I
Very
did
complex
appreciate that.
Rubik's Cube.
Yes, it was, but I did like the whole idea of Fred. I knew this, and forgive me, folks. I knew a priest. His name was Ed, and I didn't realize it. Father, FR, and the ED. They would call him Fred. I'm like, his name's Ed, Father Ed, and then I missed it for months, and they finally said, "Yeah, Roger, it's Fred, Father Ed." Oh, oops. So when they mentioned the guy's name Fred, I was like, "Oh, what is he, a minister?" I really, that was my first thing. Obviously, I wasn't even close, but I did like the sequence of Fred. That was cool. Because I think they said, what, this guy's been alive for like, what, 800 years? Could you
Hmm.
imagine? And when they
Yeah.
downloaded the information, I appreciated that they had the technology to download the memory. And they used some Hugosius number to represent. And it was awesome that they were able to get a lot of it and they found the imagery. That was cool. I gotta admit that was neat.
Well, that's
That
because
that
Stennis
was
is a pack
plausible.
rat.
I'm sorry.
I said that was because Stennis is a pack rat. He was able to get the old technology.
Oh, that's right. He did say that. I was like, okay, well, let's hear it for the pack rats on that one. Because Dr. Colbert was talking about the fact, how are we going to resolve this? None of us have wires or whatever. So that was kind of interesting that they had that. But guys, the Discovery is still a ship of its day. The
Oh yeah.
bones of the ship
The
is
bones of the ship
still
are still.
is still. So how could they say there weren't wires aboard the ship? Okay. Is it plausible, Aaron? Or has it been completely redone and refitted like 2283 with
Well,
the
I thought
Enterprise?
that's what happened. That they did refit it in like season 4 or something.
Completely. So
Yeah, and it just like looks the same because
It's all the innards.
production design.
all right. How about the uniforms? This is way off topic. How are the uniforms? Do you guys like the uniforms for this season?
I didn't even notice. I'll admit that. I wasn't even
I
paying
didn't
attention.
either.
Oh, I do all the time. Aaron, you're shaking your head.
I don't like the uniforms, to be honest. I just think it's the colors. They're too bright, I think, is the problem to me. But what looks really good is the one that Burnham wears, and it's like burgundy, and she had it at like the start of the episode, like when they're at the party. I think that looks really good because it's like a muted color. It's the same, like the TNG colors are actually muted
Oh,
colors.
that
They're
was a
not bright.
dress. She was wearing a
Yeah,
dress uniform. Yeah.
yeah.
Dress
Okay.
uniform, yeah.
I just feel like it seems that when they made the colorful versions, they were like, okay, we know that red is this color and yellow is this color and blue is that color. When that's not what it is. It's like burgundy, like gold and teal.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm not a friend, or I'm not a fan of these uniforms, but have you guys watched some of the specials for Discovery that they're talking about how they're creating these uniforms? Did you? Okay, yeah, you guys know that they're almost synthetic. They're using what those printers, right, Aaron? there's material in these uniforms that give them a modern look, and I will grant it to them. That's a lot of money for uniforms.
And I feel like just the effort that they go into crafting like costumes and stuff for this
Yeah.
whole show is incredible. However,
Right.
I feel like they're just not very flattering on people, and it's just the colors just read very wrong. It's like someone that hasn't watched Star Trek making a costume for Star Trek.
I would go back to season one. I don't understand that unbalanced collar. And then I think in seasons three and four, did you notice the uniforms were like at the bottom of the blouse, I guess what you would call it, or the jacket? They were uneven. I don't that I didn't get. There are aspects of this. I think these uniforms are balanced in season five. But yeah, yeah. I just
It is tough though, because it's like, again, like with the technology, you have to design for the future and think how people are going to dress, and like you said, like the types of fabrics that people are going to wear in the future, and you have to think outside the box for it. But I don't know. I think it's that thing of like, maybe people thought that when the original series first came on, and they're like, no one's going to have technology like this, no one's going to wear clothes like this, and then when it hits those eras, you're like, oh yeah, this is how people dress.
folks. I think, and I'm not trying to speak for Aaron right now, but I think Aaron and I are on the same page. And here's one thing that we both agree on: we don't like the uniforms, but we like what they're doing with them in a way. We can acknowledge we're not haters of Discovery. We just don't like the way they look, but it doesn't mean that we
Yeah.
dislike it.
Doesn't mean we go on a tirade online, threatening death upon everyone that's like part of it. Yeah.
It's just the color scheme, the palette, whatever, just doesn't work. That's all. But yes, I think everyone knows that Aaron and I both are hardcore Star Trek Voyager fans. That was almost the perfect episode. Although we do like the first contact ones, right? Oh yeah, those were good. But anyway, I just digress. It's just season five Discovery, folks. I gotta admit, what they're doing on Discovery is awesome. The production is amazing. It's just, I'm not a fan of them.
Especially like visually, episode 2 in particular, in the forest, and there's like a beautiful like extended sort of ravine or whatever with like rivers and things like that. That looked incredible.
Now, yes. Now, what do you think of their away mission uniforms?
I like
I,
those.
Go ahead.
I don't pay it. I'm not paying attention to that. I might have in the second watch, and I didn't finish that. Remember, so
Do you know why, folks? All kidding aside, I'm a fan of Star Trek. I've been for time immemorial, and I'm into the way things work. I am never an expert. Michael and Aaron could be considered professionals in what they do, and they are production people. That's why I love hearing their commentary because they've done it. They've been involved in productions, whether you know it or not. Check out These Are the Voyages on YouTube. Did I get it
They're
right?
very good, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Thank
look,
you.
oh right there, handle Voyages fan film, folks. You're missing it. The Fall of Starbase One, which is, let me see if I say this correctly. It's not the. Oh, I might even be lying if I say no. You know what? Just check it out. You know what? Hey Aaron? On a side note, which episode do they know that it is the Fall of Starbase One? Right. That's
Yeah.
like, yeah, everyone knows that set or that series of that one, right?
Yeah.
But folks, there's a trick to the episodes, and see if you guys figure it out. I did. That's so I spilled it. I told my daughter Erin. I said, "God, you gotta watch this episode." And she saw the first episode, and Erin, I forgot. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's Erin!" You know, guys, check it out. Check it out. It's really good stuff. But anyway, we're continuing. Second episode, being on the planet. It did feel like Naboo by some of
I
the
was thinking the same thing. It's like, oh
um,
God.
but maybe talking about the production a little bit. I know, Aaron, are these are these visual effects or special effects? The whole things that were like I see it as pollen, and someone who has allergies. Oh my God, I was losing my mind. I would die on that planet. But the way it looked, the for lack of a better word,
I would
pollen.
assume they were visual effects. I don't think they'd probably do
Okay.
much practical stuff.
It did look good. I liked the ambience of the planet, and that is another bit of kudos to the production team. It looked good. It felt real. Being in Southern California, folks, I think I have this over everyone here. I know where they're at and where they're filming in Star Trek. Number one, I've been there. I recognize it. Right now, because they're in Toronto, I don't know where they are, and it looks good. It did look otherworldly, right, Aaron?
Yeah. I think between like the marketplace in the desert in episode 1 and this, I think like the visuals are great. This is elevated for sure.
Oh, hey guys! Before they arrived at the city, I thought they were ruins. Did you guys think they were ruins, or did you think that they were coming upon a little city? Because when it ends up being a city, I was like, "Oh, oops!
No, I thought it was ruins. I will say
Yeah, I
that.
think it was ruins too. Yeah.
Oh wow!"
Just a thought. Do you think they're using an AR wall, or do you think
That's what I was thinking they were.
it's just what they used to do with green screens and stuff, or do you think that's an AR wall?
I feel like
Okay,
for the shot where they like look out onto the like valley, that was like green screen or extended. Um, I think the only time I saw the AR wall was when they're on the desert planet, and I think Book and Michael are having a talk, and you can see in the distance like the big things that are going to be blown up. I feel like that's the only time I saw the AR wall.
Yeah, it could be. I because
Well,
they can use both things, so it's like, and the AR wall
yeah.
is getting better. I think.
Well, not only that, Strange New Worlds picked one up last season or the season before, and we're using it. So why not, do the same thing?
folks, I've forgotten about the AR wall. The AR wall is up in Toronto, and yes,
And that's
they
where
are
they
using
are.
it. Yes,
Yeah.
that's why, folks. When going back, sorry, I'm switching gears. Picard, they were in Los Angeles. They filmed it almost exclusively in Los Angeles. I have been everywhere that Picard when they were out when the Borg Queen and they had it out on the street. I'm like, oh my god, I stood right there. Future history. Kind of like I'm gonna join that author that has to leave. Oh, oops, sorry. I read something. All right, young man, give us your thoughts. I'm gonna stop right now. Give us your thoughts of episode 2.
I would just say that I really appreciated the seeing, I guess, the sort of full circle of the relationship between Michael and Saru. I think that was like very touching, and yeah, I enjoyed that they had that opportunity to show how much they changed. So
He
yeah,
mentions it when she boarded the ship, everything he said. And I appreciate what he told her. He says, "You don't have to replace me. You have to replace the first officer." Yeah,
We need a
yeah, that
new
was
number
good.
one.
Yeah, you need a new number one. That was good. Um, Folks, I do want to thank Aaron. I believe something has come up. He's going to have to get to it, but I thank him for being on with us. I know we're going to carry on for a little bit more. I know we've covered a little bit, but is there any last thought on episode 2? Because I know you've added already.
I was just gonna say about the I forgot to say it before, but with the whole like using the storyline from the chase, I hope that they do that justice in the fact that because the chase was like a single episode, and in those days like TNG, you kind of didn't want to affect what comes afterwards, so it was very contained. And like I would have thought that having that big revelation about the fact that everyone's related and stuff would change something, but it doesn't. So I hope that in Discovery, if they're expanding the storyline, that it does have some sort of like profound impact. And I guess it's kind of like nice that the last season of Discovery is going to end on this big sort of groundbreaking where we come from thing. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. There was actually a Star Trek video game called Hidden Evil that was like a sequel to Insurrection, and the Romulans are looking for this ancient device, and the progenitors are in that game as well. So it'd be interesting to see if there's anything from that in it. And it's also funny that the main character in that video game was a human brought up by Vulcans, and Michael is a human brought up by Vulcans.
It's like human weapons. Yeah.
Now, I'm wondering what's going to happen. I'm going to put this thought right before, because I know you have to go, Aaron, and I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The thought that Cleveland Booker knows whose Maul is. And I liked his line where he said, I think she is the only bit of family that I have. Because that line didn't leave him. All we have is each other. And that bugged him
Yeah.
and bugged him. And he says, yeah, I think all we have is each other. And he said something. Oh, and by the way, I did guess it was Trill. The fifth verse of the song, I forget whatever it
Hmm.
was. I was like, they're not talking about Beta Z, they're talking about Trill. And when I forget the character's name, she said, no, we have to go to Trill. I thought that was cool. So we'll see. If they're going to do this and they're going to hit a lot of Star Trek lore, I'm in. I hope they do it justice. Aaron, I thank you. Hopefully, we'll have you on next week. I appreciate you're off to
Sure.
your Sunday now. Enjoy your Sunday, young man, and
Thank you, everyone.
hope everything's
Always
good
nice
for
to
you.
chat.
Enjoy
Yes.
set building, Aaron.
Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. Do we have something?
Oh, he's not saying anything, but
But he just did.
I did, not him.
We're doing like 3 little shorts, like 90-second shorts. So
Awesome. That is great news. Aaron, I can't wait. I really cannot wait. Young man, I'm envious of you. I've said it on air. I've said it many times. I wish you had some money to do some stuff. And you know what I mean. You
Me
know
too.
what I mean. In respect, I see
I wish I
what
had some
you
money
do.
to store some stuff.
Oh, that too. Yes. I cannot wait to see what you're gonna do. Oh my God, I'm in. I'm all right.
And by the way, having that Cybermen looking at me the entire episode really was bugging me. I just want to let you know.
I'm glad. That was the intent.
Just a harmless Cyberman, seriously.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Aaron Vanderclay. Check out the tag right there, Voyages fan film. Look for him on YouTube and throughout the internet. Is These Are the Voyages, folks. It's good storytelling. I don't want to say any more than that. It's good storytelling. That in and of itself says it. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
Oh,
coming, Aaron.
thanks,
Thank
Aaron.
you. See you
Can't wait to
guys.
speak to
Thanks,
you
Aaron.
again. Enjoy. Jolan True, young man. All right. In episode 2, that for me there was a bit more action, and I did appreciate it. I did like the fact that when they went down on the planet, Burnham was actually a little more keen on stuff, understanding that this is important. This planet. Oh my God, I forgot to ask Aaron about the Permilians. I like that connection. Do you know where they're from, folks? The Permilians?
I don't remember.
I don't either. I know I should
Didn't
know, but I don't remember.
didn't you as a child create a ship? Did you not have a ship in a bottle?
Oh God.
Did you not have a model? I did not
Oh,
play with
God.
toys. Captain,
No,
I had a ship in a bottle.
I can.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Come
Ryan?
on.
When you secondly started quoting that, I was literally replaying the scene in my head.
Season 3, the next
I know.
generation. Booby trap. A Permelian battle cruiser. Isn't that who they're
Cruiser.
talking about?
I would think so.
Do you remember Michael now?
I
Remember
do not know.
they were trapped in an asteroid field because of the Permelian battle cruiser that was like thousands of years old.
I don't remember that episode.
Booby trap. Look it up.
I'll look it up.
So when
All
they
the
mentioned
things
the
I have to
Permelians,
You'll
I was
enjoy
like,
it.
oh my God. Okay, Michael, it was the one where they couldn't get away because when they tried to move, there were these generators or sucking
That kept holding
generators.
them in place. Yeah.
Yeah, forgive me. I said it. I apologize. The sucking generators that was booby trap LaForge with the engineer. Leah Brahms?
Brahms.
I'm giving you a hard time now, Roger.
Okay, now you know. Okay.
Okay, he gets it. Okay.
Bastard.
I just
I was
wanted
gonna
Roger
be
to
like-
keep going.
I was going to be like,
Okay.
are we having too many late night talks, Michael? You're starting to forget things.
No, he's sucking me. I have to admit.
Oh,
He
okay.
knows.
Okay.
You rat. Okay. That was good.
Haven't been able to do that in a while, Roger. You haven't been on any of the shows, so I had to
Folks.
get my fix in.
folks. All right, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been on air for a long time. I'm not going to bore you with the details other than I am laboring today, but I'm so happy to be here. That's why I'm glad Aaron was on. I'm glad Grudge and Michael want to be here. I just can't be. I'm.
It's too much.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's the best I'm gonna say. I still can't even. I miss sports talk with the guys. I miss Monday Night America. I miss everything. I miss our Sunday morning chats as well. But I,
Well, those are going to be on hiatus for a while.
yeah, I'm not gonna announce right now what's
Yeah.
going on
No, I
there,
wouldn't.
folks. But I miss being on with everyone, and I just, ugh, it's hard, folks. It's the energy that I have to use just to get here today. I am genuinely running on adrenaline. So, but anyway, it's not about me. But some people do ask, and I want to say, look, no, there's no improvement. There's none. So that's the best I can tell you. So anyway, going back to the planet, I did like the concept that both Saru and her went down, and they were respecting what it was. And I did like that they were graves, and I swear it almost looked like they were Saru's people, but that's okay. I was like, ooh, they were grave robbers that were dead. And then when Saru says, if only the
It's a grace.
stones could speak,
And
because
then
yeah,
Well,
it was
no. Did you notice? Did you notice Saru actually accidentally made a joke of a
yes,
pun?
yes.
It's a grave situation. I'm like, seriously? You're standing in a graveyard and you're talking about a grave situation. Okay.
Actually, that was good. And I didn't realize the setup of Action Saru when I saw him doing the $6 million man or whatever,
Oh,
running through the forest. I was like, Action Saru. It's Action Jackson. But it did look good. I don't know where that came from, but who?
Reno.
oh, from Reno, yeah.
Oh, yes, right, right.
Reno gave him that.
I haven't seen Reno yet,
They said there was something that
Oh,
they
we will.
showed that said that she'll be in some of the. She'll be coming back.
folks.
Yeah.
From the moment that they found her in season 2, I was like, I have my character. She is so awesome, and I love what she calls Stamets. Oh my god, she's got Stamets' number. Oh my god, I think she's great. She's easily my favorite character in the entire series, and I'm waiting to see her, and uh, just saddened that she's still not in the episodes yet. But she's doing
She's a
very well.
busy person in real life.
Yes, she's doing very well
So
for
Yeah.
herself.
yeah.
So, but oh my god, I just loved her intros. Oh, great! I thought we were going all. What did she say? Oh, great! I thought we were all gonna die. um, that was one of her first lines. She's great. I love Reno. But anyway, all right. So they get down to the planet. If stones could only speak, and then Tilly is aboard the ship, and it was great how Tilly and I forget the character's name, the
Yeah, I
one
couldn't
that
think of it
from
either.
Earth. Do you remember her
The
name,
guy that
Michael?
she was flirting with?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God, that was so funny in the first episode. I did tell
Oh,
my
it
daughter,
was.
"Oh, she's drunk. She's drunk." That-
Oh,
I
but it
gotta
was
admit,
so painful. It was so painful to watch, though. I mean,
was
you
it
could tell the
Michael?
guy
Was it?
wanted more. And she, oh,
You know what? I guess I laughed at it because look, folks, I am stupid. I am naive. And when I see other people being stupid and naive, I'm like, oh, that's what you look like, you fool. So I actually kind of thought it was funny. I'm like, when Tilly was drunk and didn't get it, didn't understand, I'm like, dude, you're just as stupid and naive. And then when she realizes it,
I know, after the door shut. And it took her
okay,
like 2 seconds and she realized, like, oh, crap.
well, wait a minute, didn't she get a little uncomfortable in his presence? She was like, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
it's like, it's
oh.
hot in here. It's hot in here.
Yeah.
And then once he said, okay, well, we can walk again or, talk again or whatever, the door shuts. She turns around and then you see that look on her face. Oh, shoot. That's what was going on. How did I miss that?
Oh my god. I mean, I actually saw myself in that moment, so that's why I was laughing at myself. I thought it was great. It was real. 'Cause everything is just, you know how sometimes Hollywood overemphasize or just gets relationships wrong. Folks, you know what I'm talking about. Hollywood always gets it wrong. I gotta tell you, there was a little bit of truth in that episode, episode one, especially with Tilly. I guess in a way, Grudge, you're right. It was a bit painful because it was real.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably why it was painful.
I guess so. But it was good. Um, the I felt it was Naboo. I saw the four eyes. I really thought I was like, okay, that's odd. Why does that have four eyes? And then they got ambushed, and all that action. I thought it was okay, but then when Burnham destroyed one, I'm like, okay, what's the deal then? I know if you destroy one, then another one comes back, but bring down 40 Starfleet officers. Come on, how hard is it? I mean, you eventually just outdo them with numbers, but that's okay. I thought it was really cool. I did question about the whole thing about Captain Reinhardt being able. He says 7 red directives. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I thought it was
Yeah,
great
I
the way
think
they
that's a
worked through
lot.
it. Okay, but I did appreciate how Reinhardt slammed them, and he says, "You guys are thinking like 32nd century scientists." He says,
You
"Think
think what they
as
had.
Vermilion what they had," and they didn't get it right away. That I thought was real, Michael. It's subtle, but that whole way of them coming to resolve it, I thought it was a bit more real as opposed to, oh, think of a permanently. Oh yeah, let's do it this way. They worked through the conclusion, and I think that was good.
I think in a way it was almost a little too real in a certain ways. Look at our kids. They can't figure out, okay, well, how do I go about doing this? I'm cold. What do I need to do? Oh, gee, maybe go make a fire might be the thing to do. Where would I find firewood? That kind of thing. They don't think about those things. They're too modernized. And I think that was a real unusual connection that they built in with that. It's like, think about what they had back then, not, what you've got all playing with now.
How they did that, I thought it was creative. I thought it was good. There was a scene where they had the lens flare. Did you guys catch that? No.
No.
It was like I was watching this when it was around the time that where was it? Where Saru says, "I'll draw the fire." Then we see action Saru. We see that it works. And I think when Burnham and Saru get together, you see the lens flare. And it's like it's covering the entire screen. I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll never get away from it. But I thought it was okay. Um, I did appreciate how Book was using him, his way of getting and making contact with the two of them. But he was mentioning Starfleet way too much. And I'm like, dude, it's like
Yeah.
it's okay. And she says, dude, come on. You're spilling the beans on this. So um
I think the writers could have done better with that. Also, I think they could have done better with what they called it. Dark comms. Come on, it's the damn dark web.
oh yeah.
Do a
I was
little
like,
bit more creative, please. That
"Mm,
actually bugged me.
yeah, that is fair. Shortly after Booker made contact, um they talk about the phaser burns on the rock or the whatever it was, the monolith there. And I did appreciate how Saru moved it. Oh, and I thought the explanation as to how they could see the Romulan speech, I thought that was all right. I was like, okay, that's good. I think that works. And when Saru moves the rock and they discover that, when I saw that piece, I was like, what is that? It's a piece of rock. and it had a form to it. I'm like, oh, my notes were jigsaw puzzle.
And you love jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah, I really love jigsaw puzzles in seasons 3, 4, and now 5 of Discovery. So I was like, oh, come on, man. You know, but, um, and then when they said, oh, I think it's a map, I was like, J.J. Abrams, anyone?
Of course, it's a map.
And we have the first piece, and they need 5 more. Oh, I got the Force Awakens all over again. Oh my God, we need the pieces to a map so that we can find what? The thing. Oh, for the love of God. I'm like,
Well,
all
that's where
right.
all writers are going these days. It doesn't matter what show they're writing for, that's always the main premise.
Folks, the Force Awakens. They were looking for a piece of the map that Luke didn't want to be found. Whose map
Hmm.
was it? Luke? Luke left the pieces. Come on. Come on. Come on. So Discovery did it as well.
So did Ahsoka.
So did Ahsoka. We talked about that. Michael, come on, dude. You've been quiet.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be quiet. Yeah, I'm trying to be quiet.
Come on.
It's yeah. I mean, puzzles are puzzles.
Yeah. And even though I'm railing against J.J. Abrams on that, and look, hey, I'm just as envious of anyone of J.J. Abrams. Look, hey, more power to him. That guy is incredibly successful. He is one of the hottest directors. I think at heart he is a good storyteller, but I just question whether he's actually good at finishing anything that he starts. But anyway,
That's a whole other show.
I
that might
Yeah,
be, yes.
I can make him a comment, but I won't.
Lost. Anyway,
Yeah, okay. You
folks,
did. You went there.
folks, just kidding, just kidding. I envious? Do I wish I were in his spot? Oh, you bet damn right I was. So take it for what it is. I don't dislike the man. I'm envious of him, but I just think it's just, oh, come on, dude, come on, man. So, but that's okay. That did get to me, but like Aaron said earlier, overall, the concept is big enough that they have my attention. Would you guys agree with that?
Definitely.
Yes.
It was a one-off. It's the power of creation. It's in the universe of Star Trek. It is the story of creation, and this is Genesis on steroids. You
Oh
have the
yeah.
ability to manipulate creation. All right, SOBs. I say that with respect. All right, kids. You
See,
have
I'm
our
scared to
attention.
say this to Roger because then he'll just go off. Think about it. What the progenitors did, or the preservers, or whatever you want to call them,
Preservers.
they made a puzzle out of all of the creatures that they created's DNA. They put
I
the
was going
puzzle
to say the
together and
same
they
thing,
got a map.
Michael. Yep.
See, I'm
So
scared to
what do you
tell
think
him
our
that.
DNA is?
Yes.
What do you think our DNA is? But a puzzle. Exactly.
So I'm intrigued, Michael, because I
Well, I'm
respect
just
your opinion.
saying that you're all off of this puzzle stuff, but that was a puzzle. You'd like that.
We saw resolution.
Well, now we're getting even more resolution.
Oh, so we went from chess to three-dimensional chess to four-dimensional.
Absolutely.
Like, all right, well then I'm
Yep.
in. I'm in. I'm okay, folks. Look, I share my opinions, but I am not here to destroy the product. Folks, I can have an opinion. I am not a fanboy. I am not the one that, oh my God, it says Star Trek and I drew. Okay, anyway, let me correct that. I'm not the one that says Star Trek and I defend everything. because I made your rule. It says Star Trek. But folks, I Ed Aspera Prospera. Oh my God. Come on. My daughter and I
Yeah.
resaw episode 7 of Strange New Worlds. I mean, it was great. And we saw the episode again. And there was a moment where my daughter and I both gasped watching it again, and we knew what it was, and we were watching it. Folks, I love what I love. I love good storytelling. I love good storytelling. It doesn't matter the universe. There are rules, live by them, respect them, do the best you can. And if you're going to break a rule, break it smartly. Don't break it out of laziness and then say, "Oh, it's creative license." Toma, that's lazy. That's what makes enemies, and that's why fans get mad. You can break the rules, but if you do it smartly, the fans will be angry, but they'll love you for it. Won't and folks,
Yeah.
come on. Look, turning a story on its ear, that's not enough. Where are you taking us? Michael Piller was one of the best producers anywhere. He made the next generation what it was. And his edict to the writing staff, and a lot of people know this, and I'm probably talking to the choir. He said the story has to be about our crew, and it has to be about what happens to them and how they grow from it. There has to be ramifications. Otherwise, what's the point of telling the story? What makes us different from any other program in prime time? What is the story and how do they grow from it? That is a difficult instruction for episodic television. And Michael Piller made it happen on the next generation. Those were phenomenal stories. And we're seeing some of that here on Discovery. We're seeing some of it on Strange New Worlds. We're even seeing on Below Decks,
Lower
Picard,
deck.
Lower Decks. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. We're,
Yeah.
we're seeing that. Folks, that's why we watch. We're watching stories. We're not here to watch special effects. We're not here to watch something that's been done before and was done better 10 years ago. Come on, man. We're looking for stories. And there's some good stuff. And I believe my hope is that where Discovery is going with wow, the power of creation. All right, you rats. You got my attention. So it was good. So I'm sorry I went off on that tangent, folks, and I apologize, but I am what I am. I am a believer. I'm a true believer. Hey, season 3, Discovery. That was me.
Well, speaking of other true believers, did you realize that the actor who played Locke is actually a diehard Star Trek fan, and this is the second time that he has been in Discovery?
No, who was the who's the actor?
I cannot pronounce his name correctly. It's the last name. It's Elias Tofelness.
Watch your language.
Toupexis, I believe. Haha. But no, his first episode was in season 1. He played Cold, a human Federation prisoner.
From season 1,
And I
Cole?
guess, yes,
I didn't recognize him.
so I'm like,
Ooh.
I know that voice. I know that voice. Where do I know that voice from? And I had to go and look it up. I'm like, okay, then. And I guess he's done a lot of other work too, including some voiceover stuff.
Um,
But I always think it's
Elias.
really cool that they bring, yeah.
Oh yeah, I would not be able to pronounce his name. Oh yeah, okay, I see him. Yep. Elias,
It was
I
the
don't
voice
know the
that got me.
pronunciation. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Huh.
I was just like,
Okay.
ah. I think it's so cool that you're a fan of a show that you get a chance to work on.
Oh,
First and foremost, you're the fan, and then you get to play these parts and then come back and do another part. I think that's really neat.
he was in The Expanse.
Um, Possibly. I can't remember everything I saw that he was in, but yeah.
Variety has called him the Canadian Andy Serkis in the video game world. Wow. That's incredible praise. I did not recognize him under the uh under the makeup and prosthetics and stuff. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I recognized Steve Harlow right away because she's been in so many of the different things that I watch. But it was like, okay, where do I know him from?
Wow. Yeah, I appreciate that. You had me on
Just,
that one. I really wasn't paying attention. Michael?
no, never mind, never mind. I was in the wrong place. Never mind.
Eve Harlow. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Known for the 100 Agents of Shield, and I guess Next as well. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did recognize her from somewhere else as well. I don't pay attention to them as much because I try to give people, I guess, their due. I'm not. I mean, if I recognize them, like okay, I know them from such and such, but then I move on. But on these, I wasn't trying. I think I just haven't had a lot of time to focus on the characters. That's why. That was good. That was good, Grudge. I like that. Okay. All right. Well, Michael, your thoughts on episode 2 and Grudge, your thoughts on episode 2.
Well, my
And
thoughts on Grudge, I'm not allowed to talk about.
No, you're not.
Um, but um, I mean, it was very enjoyable for me. As I said, I wish I'd been able to see it a second time before I came on today. But I am looking forward to see where all this goes.
Grudge?
Yeah, I'm right there on the same page with Michael, especially the fact that they're bringing up, next generation stuff, and they're playing into it so well, and even kind of some of the stuff with Voyager that they're playing into. So who knows where all this will lead? And it's just there's a lot of really neat stuff that I could see unfolding, provided they have enough time and writing to do it. Well, of course, they've already done all the writing by now, but it's just I see so much potential that could be there.
Okay. Huh. Appreciate that. All right. Folks, I already gave it the love that I gave it. Again, I equate Discovery to the workplace that we have. There are people you like at work and there are people you don't like at work, but it is your workplace. So, um, that's the best I can say. If there are characters you don't like, hey, so be it. It's just the way it is. I will say this, that I hope they don't hit it in the last few episodes. But folks, I'm probably going to be disliked for what I'm going to say. But you know what? Screw it. I'm still going to say it. BS. I like the fact that it has never been touched upon, not once, as to why Burnham is called Michael. We're not stupid. We're not dumb. But this was a Roddenberry way of thinking, that you do it in such a way that you respect who and what they are, and you allow the audience to infer, to learn, to experience, and enjoy. I hope they don't answer why Michael is Michael. Okay? It's a personal comment. I respect him more for it. And I personally believe, and I know that this is where the hate's going to come, that we're better off if they don't explain it. Because if they do, it's a stupid misfire because it's been done so well right now. You take the person for who they are. You don't need to explain. And when that happens, things melt away, things go away, and we're all better off for it. I am not asking my co host to comment or to add to that, but if they wish to add any other final thing before we go, I think it would be good. Grudge, is there anything else you wanted to add on the episode, or do you have any announcements or anything?
Well, not particularly on the episode, but for Discovery overall, I just wanted to make sure, and I know most of the Star Trek fans are well aware of this by now, but I just wanted to re-announce the fact that we did lose a major Discovery actor um, in February, and that was Kenneth Mitchell. So I just, I mean, in the course of the 4 seasons that he was on, he played multiple different characters in at least 10 episodes that I'm aware of. So, and it was too young, and it was really kind of surprising. You thought he had more time.
Oh, that's right. Kenneth Mitchell. He was in the third
Yeah.
season. He also voiced character in the lower decks. I thank you for
Mm-hmm.
reminding us. Yes, he is Cole, the commanding officer in the Klingon Empire. He also portrayed Cole's father, Cole Shaw, and Tenevik, keeper of the time crystals. In the third season, he's unveiled as Aurelio. You're right.
And all of the cast works so well with him to even have the adaptability, so he can continue to act in a lot of his movements, and the way that he was placed in some of the standards worked real well as the disease got worse.
He was disabled, was he not?
He had ALS.
Yes. Wow.
And he has a young family.
Yeah, he left way too young. Thank you for reminding us on that. Yeah, he passed away February 24th, 2024. Gosh, he was only 49.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for reminding us on that, Grudge. Michael, do you have any announcements on, or do you anything on Discovery
Not on
or
Discovery, no. I just
upcoming
have
announcements?
announcements for a couple of guests we've got coming up in the next few days, which is kind of cool. On Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern.
This is tomorrow?
This is tomorrow. Yes. We
Mm-hmm.
have Johnny Quattro coming on. He's a singer songwriter from Florida. And on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Luke Dulac, who does something wild. It's called a sire wheel. It's like a lit hula hoop that he gets in the middle and starts. How would you describe it, Liz? Rolling around on the
How he starts.
floor.
Yeah, it's like he's in a gigantic wheel spinning around on the floor, but he has to hop into it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you've seen it like when you go to circuses or some Cirque du Soleil programs and stuff.
And that's what they use. Yeah. So he's self-taught, and it looked kind of cool. So I thought it'd be cool to have him as a guest. So that's on Monday, and then we have some of our regular shows coming on. Tuesdays, Fandom Access at 10 p.m. Eastern, and then on Thursday at 5 p.m. we have Travel Itch Radio.
Didn't we miss Bad Batch tomorrow as well?
Oh, well, I was trying to wait for that because that's our significant program that is on tomorrow night, reviewing Bad Batch seasons 8 through 11. Ha ha ha. Episodes 8 through 11
I wish.
at 9 p.m. We hope to see you there. It should be fun. So that'll be 4 episodes, 8 through 11, we're going to talk about. So at 9 p.m.
All right. Well, there it is, folks. And we just got a like. I want to give a shout out to my brother Luis Noriega. For those of you that know and don't know, I didn't want to make any public announcements, but I've been off air for numerous reasons, and one of them was having to take care of, and then other things happened today, which I'm not gonna.
It's just all good, Roger.
You know what? It's
Yeah.
anyway. I got a like from my brother, who we quite frankly almost lost a few weeks ago. So I'm glad that he's watching right now. Lewis, I'm sorry you went through what you did. Uh, it was frightening for all of us on our side, but I'm glad you're recovering, and I'm glad you're home, and it's good. I appreciate the love, brother. And yes, I don't know when, but we're gonna have to go out to the crater in Arizona, so we're gonna be doing that soon. But I'm not gonna get into any other details. But yes, we almost lost him, and I'm glad that he is recovering. So appreciate your watching, Lewis. So yeah, and for everyone else, uh, we actually had a loss in the family today, so I'm gonna have to go into dealing in that, and that one was rather painful. What happened? So a bit distracted, and if you want to drop your thoughts and feelings our way towards the extended Noriega family, we would appreciate it. But I don't want to make any other announcements beyond that. But yeah, things are a bit rough right now, but I love being here on air. It makes everything a lot better. And I thank you for being with us, enjoying the time. And we love being here, and we love reading your comments, damn it. So we'd appreciate if you leave a few more comments. We know you're watching, so
Yeah, I was going to say because I
it's
think
frustrating. They are watching, damn it,
well
but
they're
no one's
watching, but
commenting.
they're also I think some of them are watching on one of the streams that we can't get comments.
Ew. Okay.
Yeah,
But we are watching those that are on Twitter, and we're
no, we
watching.
we can watch them, but we can't see their comments.
Yeah.
Twitter does not do comments, unfortunately.
So, but
Twitter and Instagram do not do comments. So.
yeah, but we do appreciate it, folks, and it means a great deal to us.
Mhm.
So we thank you, and we'd love to hear your comments and opinions. And we're just flattered that you spend time with us. I mean, who are we, man? And yet you're visiting with us from our hearts, from our ability to speak, and from our minds. We admire and respect that you spend time with us, and it blows us away. Michael and I, when we talk about it, we're like, wow, can't say it any other way. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for the rest of us, we will see you next week. And it looks like we're going to be on tomorrow as well in the evening, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be watching the Bad Batch. And yeah, you guys know I don't ask a lot from all of you other than comments. So,
And likes.
and likes. We appreciate it. We appreciate you spending time with us. We're just so floored by it. We love you guys. Thank you. And even though Aaron had to go right now, good for him. We thank Aaron. Go watch his program. These are the Voyages. Grudge and Michael. And I don't say this a lot on air. I want to thank Grudge for her service to our nation. She did for very many, many years. She is a genuine hero, and she did it because she chose to. And maybe she'll tell her story one of these days, and we'll see. And Michael, he's done a lot of other things too in service. Not necessarily in the same way that Grudge has, but Michael is a former educator, and he has done other things which I'm not permitted to talk
Nope.
about for King and Country.
Nope.
That's right.
Thank
Uh,
you, Roger.
no, thank you, and thank you, and thank everyone else.
Didn't do it for the thanks.
No, you did it for other reasons, but we won't talk about the cows. Folks, we will see you guys
I
on the other
know.
side. Jolan
We had to
True,
get it in.
and ladies and gentlemen, fortune favors the bold. or as they say, fortune favors the foolish. Peace!